Welcome to the gathering.
The power of small groups to create change is in direct proportion to the degree of their commitment. This is true not only on the positive side, but the negative side as well. You don't have to be a genius to accomplish change, but you do have to be committed. Think about AOC and her crew. AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley. Think about how in a short period of time, just 4 people changed the Democrat Party. These are not the smartest people in Washington, but the reason they're so effective is because they are so committed. You don't have to be a genius like Thomas Jefferson or Benjamin Franklin to make real change, but you do have to be committed. It's ordinary people like you and me that make the difference. When the Bolshevik Party was formed in Russia, it only had 8,500 members, and over 60% of them were under the age of 25. 8,500 people completely changed the history of Russia when it had a population of over 125 million people for generations. Now, let's take a look at the positive side. Consider this. Our founding fathers knew that the degree of their capacity to create change was in direct proportion to the degree of their commitment. The Revolutionary War went on for 8 long years and had so many low points. In 1776, the British were chasing American forces out of New York. They captured Fort Washington and took 2,000 prisoners. They then started chasing Washington across New Jersey. The colonial army had shrunk from 30,000 troops down to 2,500 able-bodied soldiers. Imagine an army of 2,500 soldiers against the most powerful nation in the world. Things really looked bad right before Christmas. Then, Thomas Paine sent a letter to Washington and the troops to remind them of the power of commitment and what it could produce in a just cause. It was written on the top of a drum and has come down to us as the American crisis. You know how it starts out. These are the times that try men's souls, just like our times today that test our souls. At the core of that letter was Paine's reminder to Washington and his troops that it is commitment in the most trying times that creates victory. Washington read Paine's words to his soldiers. He focused on the power of commitment, and they broke out in cheers. So, getting chased all over the colonies, being driven out of New York and across New Jersey, being down to just 2,500 troops, what does Washington do after he reads these words to them? He counterattacks. He crosses the Delaware on Christmas night and attacks the Hessians at Trenton. In the immediate area, the British had more troops, and they were certainly better trained. They were professionals. The Hessians did this for a living. They had the best equipment and the best training, plenty of food and ammunition. Talk about the strength of commitment. Outnumbered, Washington's troops marched 19 miles in the freezing rain at night. They were short of ammunition and couldn't make a frontal assault. They were short of food. They were hungry. They were poorly dressed and cold. Many of them didn't even have boots. They marched 19 miles in the freezing rain with rags wrapped around their feet. But they surprised the Hessians and won the Battle of Trenton with very few casualties. They then went on to win the Battle of Princeton. And those victories allowed Washington to reconstitute his army and recruit more men. When Washington attacked, he had no more than 2,500 effective soldiers in his army. After the battle, people heard of that victory and were inspired, and the army grew to over 30,000. Think of that. Just 2,500 people turned things around at a critical time, and it all came from knowing how powerful they were and never wavering in their commitment. Small numbers, big commitment. The power of a small number of deeply committed people can change everything. Remember, Washington's army was decimated. He was outnumbered, short of ammunition, short of food, suffering from a string of defeat. And what did he do? He counterattacked. We're in a much stronger position than he was then. Like Washington and his men, commitment will give you so much power. Once you make that commitment, you can change this country's history. It's time to commit. For The Gathering, I'm Leonardo Radomile. Thanks for listening, and if you like what you heard, give us a quick thumbs up and subscribe. To learn more about The Gathering and our free course, check out our webpage. You'll find the link below.